All right. Welcome into the half. It feels like we were just talking, Eric. Oh, because we were. We scooted out of two regular guys. So my name's Erich Montgomery, and you can find me at oursuccessgroup.com. Next to me, this fine gentleman is Mr. Erich Campbell, and you can find him at Erich Campbell, ERICH, Campbell.com. And Eric, wow, what a great show. 90 minutes of planning and just golden nuggets. I felt like we delivered on our final show of the year, the two regular guys.
That was a great show. Yeah, we tied it all up very nicely. So if you guys didn't check it out, go back, have some time later, catch it on the replay. Two regular guys was actually a great one about planning for the next year. Something that we all like to talk about at the end of the year. And I know sometimes it seems a little hackneyed to be like, all right, the planning show. I think the planning show is always a good one. And because we do go back and look at the previous year, just like the kind of a prediction show in January, I feel like we get somewhere every year.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. So we got Barb checking in from north central Minnesota, 29 degrees Fahrenheit with 13 inches of snow in the past couple of days, possibly more snow later today. Wow. Yeah. Yep. And then, sorry, we didn't leave any time. We rushed right over here. In fact, I left before Eric and got over here.
I finished the production duties and made sure that the last show got shut down.
Thank you,
shut
sir.
Off all the lights.
There you go. Yeah. Make sure the green room's closed and grab the extra green M&Ms. So
there we go.
There we go. And then Barb says hello. Christine says, wow, guys, you didn't give yourself any time at all. I figured there would be a bathroom break or something. There probably should have been, but if you need to run to the restroom, Eric, I'll cover for a second. Then I can go.
We're good.
Okay. All right.
Hey, the show must go on, people. We're trained professionals.
That's right. We're juggling plates in the background the whole nine. Yeah. So thank you, Evelyn. We appreciate that. Yeah, it was a good show.
Good show planning.
Yeah, I'm very proud of that, Eric. I think Terry had some great bookends and really got it together for us, and then being able to fill in the middle, that was really fun. So
I hate to tell everybody this, but sometimes that's the best thing. If you have somebody who is the ideation person for you, who can throw in the initial points, boy, I love doing the closeout.
Yeah.
I love filling in between those points. So Terry did a great job of kind of giving us the tent pegs, and then Aaron and I jumped in and had ideas afterwards. But it was a good thing. It was a good show.
Definitely. And I'm not sure who Todd's talking to, but
no. Hi, Todd.
Hi, Todd.
Say hi anyway, man.
Gentlemen. Thank you, sir. Good to see you. Thanks for being here, Todd. And let's see here. Christine says, when I think about it, I've done 2-hour plus shows before with no bathroom break, so it can be done.
No, I do the same whenever I teach my seminars. Very, very rarely, even in those 3.5-hour seminars, do I actually leave, because I stay for questions in between. Everybody else gets the bathroom break, but I don't.
Yeah. We can do it. I knew a guy that did an 8-hour kind of full 8-hour. This was during COVID. He did like an 8-hour program where he had different guests on to talk about different topics. I think it was like a marketing deal, and he hosted it for 8 straight hours. And people were like, "Do you need to go to the bathroom?" He's like, "Nope, I'm all good." I'm like, "Dang, dude, you're a machine. You are a machine."
That's rough. No, by the way, don't do that, guys. God, give yourself time to go to the restroom. Don't be us. But today is not so bad. Like I said, hour and a half, 2 hours total. We can hang.
Yeah. Plus, I'm a little dehydrated, so I'll get water going here.
Like, you presume we've taken care of ourselves enough to be hydrated.
To be hydrated, yeah. All right. Evelyn says, "Sorry, Barb. Orlando's 64 right now. My dog wanted to be part of the show as well, so I apologize for that."
It's coming up to the holidays. I always tell you that the last couple of shows of the year, they can be a little loose sometimes.
That's right. That's right. And then Barb says, "No worries, Evelyn. I love where I live. I love it." Good.
Yep.
Jesse. Hello.
By the way, Jesse, thank you for catching up and checking things out on replays too, and commenting. Always good to see you here. So hi.
Definitely.
Happy to have you in.
And we're just passing all the comments around. Everybody's saying hello to everybody. Hydration is important.
It is important.
Especially when you talk as much as Eric and I do. So
we do. We talk a lot.
We talk on camera. I don't talk a whole lot when we're not on camera, which is hilarious. Maybe I do. I probably do.
I talk enough.
Yeah.
We do to each other. I'll say that. We
That's
sometimes
true.
we can host a third show.
I
The
was gonna
funny thing
say,
is,
the bathroom break is
yeah,
actually the problem because Eric and I will stay on here afterwards. Yeah. So
we often do. Yeah, that's the issue we have. Is that originally we did this with this show because we were continuing to talk with people after the show. Now we do this show, and then we continue to talk after this show.
yeah. I don't think we could do the after as a show though. I don't think it would play very well.
Too much.
Uh,
To say this, I got to give kudos to Christine. I got to tune in for a big chunk of this. So Christine did her last show of the year on this last Wednesday. So Women in Business podcast, 100th episode. So yeah, high fives all around.
High fives. Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, that's so cool.
Fantastic.
Christine, I'm so glad that you do that and you stuck with it. It's tough. We know, right? We know it's tough. Eric's, what are you in?
138.
138
for mine.
Take up, and I'm somewhere in the 300s for Small Business Saturdays. We're getting closer to 500 for Two Regular Guys, and we know the work that goes into that, right? And Christine doing it on her own. Really, really proud of you, Christine. Great job.
Yeah. Fantastic. Seriously. I very much sympathize. I empathize, I sympathize, and I congratulate. That is it's a good milestone.
Yeah.
So if you guys haven't checked it out, go check her out.
Yeah. Women in Business podcast. Check that out. You can find it on Facebook and YouTube. So go check it out.
I checked it out on LinkedIn, believe it or not. I try and make sure
I
comment from some places. Yeah.
LinkedIn.
Same here.
Forgot about that. Yeah, you can catch it over there. I love that. And Todd knows this too. He's been doing Tuesdays with Todd for a super long time, and he does like he's doing 3 shows a morning too, I believe, if that's still correct, Todd. The morning mindset and stuff like that. So it is tough, and so I'm proud of the people that stick it out. So
consistency, it's huge.
Yep. All right, Evelyn talking about her special clothes for visits to Minneapolis, and then Christine says, "Oh, that makes me laugh. I've done an hour with a guest after the show is over. Sometimes that's the most fun." Yeah,
absolutely. I have done that, and honestly, I have made people have that problem when I'm a guest also. So I remember very distinctly back when Promo Kitchen was doing their show after the promo chats. Oh man. The hosts that we had over there, I used to talk with them for hours, like an hour before and an hour after. That's often how it happens in the podcast. But that also tells you we're all passionate about what we're doing and we have stuff to talk about. So it's worthwhile.
Yep, definitely. Christine says, "Thanks, guys." All right. Well, speaking of passionate things to talk about, what do you guys want to talk about? I appreciate all the greetings and everybody checking in. I know we talked to some people about some weather and stuff like that, but if there's any more substance you guys would like to get into, right? Anything a little bit deeper, any questions that you might have for us or for anybody? And Christine says, "Eric, I don't think anything can beat our 5-hour dinner conversation, though. That poor wait person."
Hey, I tip heavy, so it's all good. I tip heavy.
Care of them. They were there anyhow, right?
Hey, you don't have to serve a bunch of other people, and as long as you tip high enough, it's not the end of the world.
Makes it worth it for them. Awesome. Yo. So what other questions do you guys have for us? What other things do you want to get into? Hey, you know what? We're coming on towards the end of the year, Eric. Maybe I can toss something at you here if you're okay with that.
Yeah, let's go for it.
He's like, no, but I can't say no right now.
I actually like that. I always tell people I wish that more trade shows would have me do Q&A. I love impromptu questions. I'm in. Better than having to do all the prep work. I'll be honest with you. I would love to do an hours
of all right.
Q&A sessions.
Well, I'm gonna throw this at you real quick, and then we'll get back. We do have some great questions in here from folks tuned in, but let's start with this one real quick. Coming on the close of the year, what is the number one thing that you are proud of from 2022?
Number one thing I'm proud of. Yeah, that's a tough one because I've done a lot of weird stuff this year, different stuff than I usually have been. I'll say this. As you guys know, I also work with and for the folks at Brilliance.
Yeah.
And I've been doing a lot of their marketing. And I'll say I have absolutely positively moved the needle and learned a lot about marketing this year. Not that I didn't know it before, not that I hadn't done marketing before.
Yeah.
But I will say working in the Amazon marketplace and understanding that it is a Byzantine set of rules and codes you have to follow. And it is very difficult to do. And I actually have done pretty well with that this year. So I'll say between that and honestly, like I said, just being able to move the needle with marketing and I'll give you one last thing, though. It's like 3 things, I guess. I'm really proud of the work I did creatively on our Renaissance collection, I did a lot of actual hand drawing and stuff, and did some original font work that was well received, and I really am proud of it. It was just a very nice, very clean bit of typography, and that's kind of a side thing I've always loved. So I've been very much enjoyed that.
Yeah,
I think
love
it
it.
was good. So yeah,
Good.
let's go on for you, man. Let's get what's
Okay,
your big top thing? What's your
yeah,
and I'll give you
like you
your
said,
top three, since I kind of did three. It was,
no, I can do one. I can do one. Yes, there's definitely many things that I'm proud of.
for sure.
But I'll give you my number one because it does really stand out to me. The work I got to do, the thing I got to do with the graphics pro folks at the Graphics Pro Expo in Charlotte, that Start Here
Mm,
Academy.
that was awesome.
It was incredible. I loved every second of it. Being able to I mean, we were basically able to help 400 people,
That's
just kind
awesome.
of, go from get started, right. And get out there. And I thought, being able to kind of coordinate that and being able to be the MC for that, I got lots of great compliments and feedback on that. So, they've asked me to, we haven't finalized anything yet, but I
Mm,
will just throw it out there. They've asked me to come back for the Indianapolis
that's awesome.
version, which will
Awesome.
be the Start Here Academy this next year. So yeah, that's my
Congrats,
number
man.
one thing. Thank you.
Congrats, man. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Well, and
Thank you. Thank
I could tell from how that went down. I remember talking to you afterwards, and it was just that's really proud of you for getting that done, and kind of expressing and stretching into a thing that wasn't necessarily what they planned, but really making it work. That was
you. Yeah. Yeah.
playing into your
But
strength, and that's awesome.
yeah, I was just proud to be a part of the whole thing. I mean, the Graphics Pro people did a great job pulling it together, and they
Awesome.
trusted me enough to kind of take over some things. Plus, then the people they had there, from Lisa and Stan and
Yeah.
Eve. So I was like, oh no, I just forgot her name. I can see her face, but no, Eve.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
they were great. All the sponsors were fantastic. And
It's good
just being
stuff.
able to showcase really good companies. So I could go on about that forever, but we've got questions here, Eric.
Okay. Okay. Let's
A
go.
Q&A with questions. What the
Yeah.
heck?
Let's
All right.
do it. Yeah.
Uh,
Let's do it.
so Todd asked, percentage-based rush fees versus dollar amount rush fees.
That's a tough call. I mean, I've always done percentage based fees, but I think portion of that is because it really does represent usually the amount of labor that's involved, because the
Hmm.
costs are gonna scale with the amount of labor to a degree. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I personally like percentage based fees also because they're easier to justify to customers.
Yeah.
Honestly, when you give them a calculation, it sounds official. I know it sounds terrible, but it's like otherwise, if you have dollar-based rush fees and someone comes in with a single piece, depending on how much labor there may be in that, compared
Sure.
to someone who comes in with a larger order. If you're someone who services large orders and single piece orders, single piece person sometimes can be kind of subsidizing the larger order.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Oh no,
No,
I mean, for me, rush fees have always been kind of a factor of, even if it's not really what's happening, and understanding that I'm probably going to have to pay laborers time and a half to stay late to do something that's out of the ordinary, and so that's
yeah.
why it tends to be about time for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's certainly something to be said about the percentage based rush fee,
Mm,
right? Like you said, if it is really just about the rush fee, then a percentage base is probably the way to go. Um, so, but on the flip side of that,
hmm
depending on what your goals are with it, right? So if the rush fee is just to encourage people to plan ahead,
hmm
right? Then maybe a dollar based rush fee is better
Yeah.
because it's just, you make the the rush fee on, hey, you've got to have this in 24 hours. You make that just okay, well, totally fine, but you're going to pay, $100 per piece, and yet these things maybe cost you. So um I can see it being used as more of a tool to encourage your customers to behave appropriately, right?
It's
Um,
the stick. It's punitive. It's the
yeah,
punitive rush
yeah,
fee.
yeah. But
But
if
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just a reality, your production
sure,
schedule is what it is, and people want to jump the line. Okay,
sure.
we can allow that. But what I found people kind of get themselves in trouble with is they get people jumping the line, and then they start not delivering on the standard stuff. And so now you've
Yes.
actually encouraged because if I know that my price is always going to be X amount of dollars because I'm paying the rush fee,
Mm,
then why would I ever plan ahead? Right. I
mm,
mean, well, yeah, I don't
mm.
need to then. You've given me that out. So I think you got to look at it and understand what the idea what the point of having the rush fee is. And honestly, if you're just doing a rush fee to try to keep people from doing that altogether, I think the better thing to do would be just say, sorry, we don't, I can't do it. Right.
Cutoff
Because
lines.
yeah, we had that in the holidays here. They were saying, okay, well, what if people come in late and they want to do this? Can like, well, the production will still be the same. If they want to pay for faster shipping, that's fine, but we have no control over the shipping, right? So UPS 2-day is not guaranteed 2-day, right? So they can pay for that if they want to, but if it doesn't happen, and we're going to be the same production time, right? So we've got actually people putting in orders today, and then they're putting 2-day shipping on it. It's like, well, we're 5 to 7 days, so there's a chance it might not even ship until after, and that's just the way it is. So I guess to kind of close that out, just understanding what the point of having the rush fee is, and then designing it from there. But I agree with Eric. The percentage-based fee is probably cleaner.
Well, it also depends on your business model. I mean, it's a very different thing if you're kind of doing contract style or business to business work. The percentage fee might be a little easier to tolerate. But what I'm going to say is this: Aaron's totally right. If people are the kind of people who can afford that, you might find your prices are too low if they're willing to pay the rush fees constantly all the time.
Yeah,
and I'd say when it comes to the holidays, a cutoff date always. But whenever I'm talking about like percentage based versus like all in pricing, so let's say we have like single pricing where we don't do any calculation, and people do this for decoration sometimes. They're like, no, all in pricing. If you buy this shirt with a embroidered left chest logo up to this size or stitch count, it's going to be all in pricing like this instead of doing calculations. The pros and cons are always this: less calculation if you do it that way. It's easier to explain to people, and they know exactly what they're going to pay, and they don't have any surprises. Whereas the percentage fee feels more equitable, and you don't have some customers kind of subsidizing other customers.
I like it.
So it's all pros and cons, and Aaron's totally right. Depends on what you're trying to get done with it.
Yep, totally. I love it. Great stuff, Eric. All right. I'm going to defer to you completely on this one. Thoughts on embroidery machines to buy. And then, so Eric says, this is a different Eric T-shirts.
All right.
Over
coming in on Twitch. So
coming in on
Thanks
Twitch.
for coming in.
Yeah, definitely. And then he also says Baradin versus Tajima.
So, well, first of all, I'll just like clear signals so you guys know I have a ZSK at the shop currently. I have run a lot of Tajima and Baradin machines, Tajima primarily over the course of my career, but I also go back far enough that I had Brother commercials. So if you guys know when they used to make real metal commercial machines from Brother, I had some of those. But behind me is a picture of a big old ZSK. They're lovely machines. The thing I'm going to tell you though is, in all honesty, most of the machines are very capable. And the thing that's probably going to cause you the most trouble is if you're not getting the kind of service that you need. So though I'm not saying there's no difference, the ZSKs run incredibly fast and are very stable. But Baradin and Tajima, both awesome machines that have, a lot of upside. Tajima has very easy service. Lots of people know how to service them, and you're going to be more likely to get someone out pretty easily. Baradin's great too. Baradin was always seen as the choice for hats for many years. People doing 3D foam hats were always running on Baradin's. But in the last 2 years, we've seen Tajima come up with the digitally controlled presser foot that can lift up. And we've seen them also have a different cap driver that runs very well. So what you're going to find is they're very capable machines across the board. The big three is what I usually call those three brands. They're going to be pretty stable. What I want you to look at is how easy is it going to be to get a tech to your location? What's that going to cost? Talk to your vendors when you ask about that. And then look at specific use cases. Things like, hey, if you're going to network multiple single head machines, ask how that's going to work and what you have to do to get that set up. If you're someone who's doing like a fleet style setup because you have a lot of personalized orders, then there's that. If you're just doing a single head though, it's your first machine out of the gate, ask about the total cost of ownership. How much will it be to get it parked in your shop where you're producing? And how much is it going to cost? And who will you have to contact when something breaks? That's going to be the most important thing for you. And I know people are going to say, oh, but one's got to be better. I have seen people happy on lots of different kinds of machines. I run the ZSKs. They're beautiful, but not everybody's going to be close to the distributors for those, depending. Or you might find that that's not what you want to run. Or if you want to run all one machine in your shop, you might not have that option. Baradin versus Tajima, who's going to service you better?
Yeah.
is going to be the thing. I've seen a lot of interesting stuff, like the Tajimas now have like digital tension. If that's important to you, you have like the magnetic tension, so you don't have the old school wheels like we're showing behind me. I like the old school tension wheels myself. I like the control and the feel on those, but at the same time, I haven't spent a lot of time on the newer equipment.
Yeah.
So it depends on what features work for you,
Okay.
what integration it has with the current work you're doing, and above all, what kind of service you're going to get. So
Yeah.
I actually talk about this a lot. It's something I'm going to talk about on my show later on today. It really, a lot of it is about service and support and technician availability.
Yeah.
Other thing I'm going to say before I get done with this, if you're looking at used equipment, I always kind of caution people on used equipment. It's not that you can't buy used, is that you should know where you're getting things from, and watch out for what kind of equipment and the age of the equipment if parts are available. I know I
Yes.
talked very briefly about the Brother commercial machines. You'll find them out there for a song sometimes because there are no more parts for them.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
very careful about the age of your equipment and the availability of parts and service.
Yeah, that's a great point. And
Huge.
I will just add, I wouldn't even call it 2 cents. It's probably
Mhm.
more like a half cent of information here. But I agree with what Eric's saying about the service and stuff like that. All
Yeah.
the people I know with embroidery machines, at the end of the day, their level of how much they love their machine always seems to hinge on who's able to help service that, what the services that they're getting, right?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the machine. It's I love my tech. I love the people that are
Pretty
there to
frequently.
support me. And so if somebody said, hey Aaron, here's a business, it's embroidery, you need to go out and buy an embroidery machine, I would have no problems at all going and buying from ZSK because I know those people and I know they
Mm.
care about their customers. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I said, yeah, if you're talking with them, you'll know.
Yeah.
And in general, the other thing I'll say about any machines, if you know the kind of work you're going to do, you're going to do hats. Talk to the vendors about hats and the difficulties that you might have with them.
Yeah.
If you've already worked on equipment and you've had difficulties, ask very pointed questions about that and have them deliver on it.
Yeah.
There, that's
Good point.
the other thing too. Like things like your decoration area, you're going to do big giant jacket backs. Make sure that you're happy with the decoration area on the machine and how much it can access, and understand what's going to be required for that. But
Yeah.
like I said, whether you're getting a ZSK, I know those some people say, oh, they're like owning a German car. They are, but they're lovely machines and they run very fast and very stably, and they have a lot of automation. If you want to do that, do that. You want to run, whatever kind of equipment
Yeah.
you're going to run, ask pointed questions, think about it via your business model and the kind of work you're going to do. And yeah, absolutely. You got to get to know who you're going to be actually dealing with on a daily basis. The
Yep.
people who are going to service you, the people who are going to work with you. It's
Yep.
absolutely important.
Totally. All right. Christine says Q&A is fun. I prep, but I'm big on spontaneity.
Love
Just
Q&A.
you checking in here. All right, Evelyn, let's see what we got here. You were talking about being a specialist. What do you do when you are a specialist in many areas and people ask the question, is there anything you don't do?
I mean, I've always told people it's not that you can't take on jobs outside of your specialism. I think that's always the case. In the places where I've worked, a lot of our specialism was to do very creative work and to find solutions for things other people wouldn't do.
Gotcha.
That was something that we became specialists at, but we constantly did very, very standard, very normal kind of decoration. It wasn't a problem. It was that we were sought after for things that other people weren't willing to try or to investigate, and we charged accordingly. But it didn't mean we didn't do anything. Now, admittedly, I think there are kinds of jobs you shouldn't take. And here's a good example since we're in the holiday season. We were a mid-sized shop. We ran about 68 heads. So we did do individual work, but we did more of our stuff was in that kind of 12 to 24 range pretty frequently. Yes, we would also do work that were in the hundreds and thousands, but most of the time that's what we did. During the holidays, we had multiple single head machine vendors and single head machine people and people in with their third bedroom side hustles that we would send out work that made sense for them. If someone had a stocking with one name on it, we're going to send you to someone who does personalization, and probably not take that job during our business time of the year. Other times of the year, did we do that kind of work? Absolutely. For our clients who we already had in for larger work, if they asked to also throw in, hey, the purchasing agent also has 10 stockings they want done, were we doing that? Absolutely. But for most people who wanted highly personalized gift work or single pieces, we had a group of people who we trusted that we would send that work to. So
Yeah.
it's not that we
So
wouldn't do it,
build
but
your,
it
yeah.
was a better fit. Yeah,
Yeah.
build your dream team.
Yeah. I like that. And Evelyn kind of follows up, and you're both so knowledgeable. Do you get that? Right. And so what I'll say about this, Eric, is I agree with you. Yeah. Build that dream team because, I might know some things about a lot of different things, but to consider myself an expert the, I consider myself an expert in building a business foundation. But the other side of it is I consider myself an expert in knowing who to reference, right? Getting
Yeah,
out there, have been around long enough that
sure.
you can tell the shysters from the people that actually give a crap about their customers. And so it's very important to me to be, like if I say, hey, talk to this person or you should buy this, and then they fall down, I take that personally. Right. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's to me where, becoming an expert in what it is you're doing. Yeah. If you come to me and you've got a question about embroidery, I'm going to try to answer you, but I'm not going to answer you. I'm going to go to the people, I'm going to, let's be honest, I go to Eric, but at the sublimation, it's like if I've done it, but at the same time, there's certain things, if you come to me about color and sublimation, that's probably not my thing because all the work that I did was not, it was always like the color is what the color is, right? You can get to be color correct, but
Yeah.
that's a whole different level of expertise. But I also know who to send you to for that, right? So I guess that does kind of back up what you were saying,
Yeah,
Eric, to say build that dream team. And I've just been fortunate enough to be doing things like the Two Regular Guys podcast and
sure.
being around for 23 years, getting involved with people that I don't know, it's kind of built the dream team, but it's just I know who to go to, and I'm not afraid to say, hey, so and so's needing this. Can you help them with that? Right.
Well,
And
and the honest thing is sometimes there are things even inside of your specialty that aren't for you. And the one that I always
yeah,
bring up as a digitizer is that I have digitized like custom animal portraits. I've done it. It is not the thing that is my favorite thing to do, and
uh-huh.
it's not my best suit.
Yeah.
I am a corporate logo guy. I can make a nice, fine corporate rendering of stuff. I've done some pretty interesting multicolor stuff that's painterly and what have you. But even then, that's not the thing I did the most. I did a lot of like very nice, fine renderings of logo type stuff like that. I've
Yeah.
done some natural work too. But here's the thing: if it came down to stock designs of an elk bugling,
Yeah.
I don't need to make any more of those. There's people who do them. And if it came down to pet portraits of someone specific, AKC registered breed dog, I had someone to send them to who was
Yeah.
excellent at that. And that was all she did. And it was her primary work. She did incredible work with fur, and it was a lot of hard work, and she charged a lot, but it was beautiful work. Could I do it? Sure. It wasn't my base specialty. And so I often sent people to her
Yeah.
to make sure they got the best work done.
Yeah. I love that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with not being, and also I'll say this too, as someone who now does consulting, I do a lot of consulting about how to run embroidery and e-commerce because I've been doing e-commerce my entire career. I will tell you all kinds of things about running the e-commerce business. If you ask me about getting small business loans in your locality, I'm going to tell you that I'm not the guy to talk to, and I will immediately shunt that off because I'm not going to pretend I know things I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you go to someone who knows better.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, you can be knowledgeable and yet still not have all the answers. And I think that's what's actually makes you knowledgeable is your willingness to not just make crap up. Right.
Also, maintaining the beginner's mindset.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always feel like I'm on the learning. I'm on the hunt. I'm always trying to be on the rise, not sitting on top of the pile.
Yeah.
And honestly, I actually feel like that. I feel like the same guy who was starting in 1999 and learning on my own.
Yeah. All right.
I feel like that guy.
Yeah. We got a lot more comments to get to here, Eric, and not much time to do it. So I'm not real sure where this kind of fell in, and I apologize.
Hey, it's something good to do.
This, but Todd, really good point here. It says safety in the workplace. Make sure your first aid kits are stocked, smoke detectors are tested, and fire suppression systems are up to date.
And I'm going to add, know where your water cutoff is. I walked into a flooded shop once, and boy, I wish I would have known.
That's a good point. We were talking about things that we're proud of for the year. It says Skills USA. He was one of the judges at Skills USA this year, and I appreciate him coming and doing that. It was fantastic. And this true story. One of the young ladies was pre-pressing the sublimation transfers. Her teacher was using some old information, I believe. So
yeah.
and then Ramona talking tomorrow on Coffee and Conversation. Go make
Nice.
sure you track that down and find that. Tomorrow morning, she'll be talking about going from home to commercial machine tomorrow on Coffee and Conversation.
And people do. By the way, you can have a business. I talked about this in my last show. People have businesses. They do personalization, especially in store, and they often use home machines to do it. Home style multi-needles.
Yeah.
And they do. I've seen everybody happy, from Brothers to Melkas to Tajimas to Baradins up to the ZSKs, and there are people doing real business with all of them.
Yep. All right, we're gonna blast through the last of it here.
Last couple.
Evelyn says service and timeliness is important. Talking about buying the machine. Yosta says we've had one brand and they stopped supporting in Sweden, so we switched to another with service.
Absolutely.
Eric, you're welcome.
Nice.
Yes, I know my potty mouth today. I apologize. Crap twice. Now that's 3 times. And Barb says definitely can be knowledgeable and not know everything. Continuing to educate oneself is important. All right.
That's the only thing.
So no bonus time, but we're going to close it out. We're off for 2 weeks, guys. So we will see you in the new year. Talk to you then.
Happy holidays, folks. Man, I didn't even get to cut you off or anything.
I know. On that. Evelyn, you can search for Coffee and Conversation on Facebook. That's where I normally find her. Ramona, reach out to Evelyn Warner and tell her where to find you. Making connections, guys. That's what we do. All right.
Absolutely.
Happy holidays, everybody.
See you next year.